Is the Hornby train track. One of the things that comes with Hornby sets is something called a track mat, which I haven't bothered with because it's printed, it's not 3D, and this allows for more customizability, such as the fact that I was forced to have two bridges because we couldn't make a table long enough, but it does add a bit of character. This grass is just cheap AstroTurf, and one of the things about layout is to decide before you even buy extra bits what you're going to have. And I was planning on, all fancy stuff, 2 ovals, an inner and outer one, 2 of these things for controlling them separately, all that kind of thing. In the end I had to settle for 2 sidings, budget, all that kind of thing. So, you got to realise what you can do, but yeah. Find out what layout works, what layout actually fits on the table, which thankfully I did, before buying extra bits, and, as I said, buy uncouplers, because without them it really can be a pain, and it does make things a lot better. Some of the many props there are these. This is a scale man, so this guy is unbelievably tall and this guy is a giant. Obviously these aren't Hornby. This is, and this is these house things and the water tank, and then there's what could for example be part of a train museum thing there, the railway and vehicles, which are more or less to scale, and a giant monster pig. These are obviously just all random farm animals that are fairly, well, some of them are fairly reasonably convincing as animals. This man really is quite poor, and I'm assuming you're supposed to do a paint job on these things. But yeah, I've got all these different props around the. This is the engine shed, which is made from balsa wood and with a bit of help from Google Images. And this is a hopper thing which has chalk in it, because the premise is that this is a railway near a chalk mine. These pieces of track are called decouplers. They make things a lot better, because coupling and uncoupling trains without them is very difficult and irritating, and they make things a lot more fun. The original track came with 1 point, 1 small curved piece, and 1 of the main oval, and I bought an extra set of points, 3 decouplers, and an extra buffer, so that there were then 2 sidings rather than 1. These are foam tubes painted brown, and they look quite like logs. These are fairly expensive walls. I can't remember if they're actually Hornby or not, but they are a modelling company. The bottom's plastic obviously, but they do look quite nice. And over here is a station, which is actually a type of tape, anti-slip grip tape, and chalk, and a piece of wood on the bottom. That's all it is for the station. You can get obviously proper stations, but that isn't the actual locomotive and rolling stock. This is a fish thing, which they're very cheap. I think it only cost around £2. You're looking more like £20–30 for these things, and this is a simple freight carriage. This is a passenger carriage. All of these, apart from the fish van, came with the track originally. This is 1 box carrier, and this thing, I have to warn you, does derail much more easily. You can't do it at full speed. And this is just a very basic truck. And then this is the small tank locomotive, which is a Southern Star. So that's the whole collection of locomotives and roll. I'll try and show how the decoupler works. Second. See, it pulls this one out. When it pulls back over the decoupler, it remains coupled because of the way the mechanism works, but when it goes forward, well, yeah, it's not going to work because it's a bit long, but I'll try and hopefully show where it explains in the carriage. Now, the annoying thing is you might have to go backwards and forwards a few times, and unless the track's perfectly clean, it will move a little bit. Best thing for it is there we are, it's worked now. Best thing for it is either a microfiber cloth, or you can buy one of the special track cleaning cars. The other uncoupler over the other side has worked. It does go backwards over points, not recommended, but it doesn't always, doesn't necessarily derail. And then I can show next how the hopper works. Just lift this up. This is made from boltswood painted, and it fills the truck more or less, getting one or two on the floor, which happens with actual locomotives anyway. You can set it back out the right way. Can't run it very well easily at scale speeds, obviously. Let's couple onto the rest. Now take it for a quick ride around the railway. Can't seem to take the weight of the passenger. Now go around the back. Fail. Now